Hello everyone, welcome to Lashim. Hi there. How we doing? Hi the Stamp. Hi Nerdland. Hi Hitch. Hi. Welcome. And today we will be oh boy. Today is gonna be a good day. How'd you like the video yesterday, by the way? What'd you think? Favorite part of the song right there. You mean the one I interrupted, or you mean when I joined it? Okay. The audio is funky. I had to use subtitles. Was it? Was it because of the replay or just in general? Because if in general, then that's pretty bad. The one I see. Hi, Unplug Lamp. How you doing? You know what? Actually, let me check that video. Let me check that video because I really hope there were no audio problems.
I just get eaten alive by mathematicians, and trust me, it's not pretty. And so when it comes to the properties, you've got all the grades. The inner product of the same vector is always greater than 0 if x.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be x. Fudge.
That's simple enough. It's basically equivalent to...
More bad news actually. Oh no. Oh no. Hi Timon. Hi, welcome. You just woke up. How early do you wait? Oh, it's fine. Never mind. It comes later in the video. When exactly?
X squared is greater than 0 if x is not 0. Inner product of ax plus by and z can be broken down like this. This not only has its own multiplication equivalent, but it's also a very important aspect of linear algebra. You know, the whole linearity business. Or maybe another thing, being that the inner product of x and y is equal to the complex conjugate of y and x. And oh, what's a complex conjugate, you ask? Well, it has to do with the fact that in this chapter we've added 3 words, not only inner product but also complex. And so let's talk about complex numbers. I won't overdo it because I've already...
This is more national. It's for the recent Starship test. Here's a program a chance of getting the moon. My home, the program. A chance of getting... What do you mean a chance of getting the moon? What? I'm not familiar with this. I'll be honest. I'm not really familiar with the Starship test. It seems fine, right? Okay, good. I'm glad that's done. It went boom. It's bad. Isn't that sometimes expected with rocket tests? I mean, that's why tests happen, isn't it? Because you want to test if something works. That's... It happened 2 times in a row. 2 times? Wait, hold on. Starship. Can I just look up... Oh, there we go. How lovely. Starship. You're gonna have ads? Alright, lovely. I mean, it was a test, wasn't it? Test flight. It's... Test... Okay, test flights failing twice in a row isn't a Doom level scenario, you know? The test flight is a simulation, that's the issue. Well, I imagine that eventually you do need to do a test flight. How many times do you need to iterate? We keep missing bump. Oh, damn it, by the way, I keep getting distracted. Unplug Lamp, you are really good at distracting me, though. I do have to say, Jeez. Okay, hold on. Make it. Get it together. Get it together. Sip of coffee. That's my job. yeah, just CIA agent on a mission to just distract me. I see what you're doing there, trying to stabilize the environment. I see what's happening. Okay, everyone. Okay, you didn't reply, so I'll ask again. Did you switch live chat? Yes, yeah, I did. Hi, Diamond, by the way. Okay, so here's the thing. Today we'll be doing something absolutely thrilling and exciting. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. That's because we will be... Actually, I would prefer library text for obvious reasons. Quantum states. They are driving me mad. They are terrible and I dislike them a lot. Let's switch to dark mode because I feel like that'll be a tad easier for everyone. So, basically, the quantum state. First, because they're just driving me insane. It's... I don't want to say terrible because it's not terrible, but it's so unique. As far as I'm aware, you have the quantum state, which you can express either as a function or as an infinite vector, except you then treat the infinite vector as a function. So, well, I don't know what's the different quantum state. I'm thinking, what happens if you plugged in? We'll get a plugged in lamp. Hold on, let me also play some music, because this is just terrible. So quiet. It's driving me insane. And the quantum states are already doing that on their own. We don't need the silence to also drive me mad. Okay. There we go. Then it means something more energetic. There we go. Good enough. Crazy, I was crazy once. No, not the room. Not the rats. Make it. What's your opinion on Poseidism? Is that the one with the nukes? If I got that right, that's... I blame J-Reg for this. Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. I think it's funny that when it comes to Poseidism, there are like different flavors. I think it's comical. Where you can have, you know, wait, what the name of the communist Poseidism and capitalist one? And like have both people who both groups of people who claim that, oh yeah, nuclear Armageddon will just result in their ideology coming on top. I just think it's funny. Okay, right. State, quantum state. Jeez, this is fun. This is really fun. Based on the general formulation of quantum mechanical states, I get the feeling of notion of the quantum there's a particle when you adequately describe it with mechanics. The description is given a corresponding wave function. No, the quantum state is... on the other hand, such wave function is not a stable mathematical object. Description of the state. As the classical radius vector, velocity as real function of time, a mathematical object describing the motion of a particle in its classical description. Right. Communist proceeded as the origin of the reference scheme, but some people believe in capital proceedings are the same thing about the world as capital said, and I find it hilarious. I find it hilarious that you can have both, you know? One should be cautious with the term vector here. The usual geometric vectors such as R and V are defined in the usual geometric, say Euclidean space. In contrast, the Bra and Ket vectors are defined in the more abstract Hilbert space. Whoa, wow, I just made a video about the Hilbert space like 14 hours ago. Isn't that crazy how we just, you know, how it all aligns perfectly, and I just made a video about the specific mathematical thing that will be needed for this quantum field theory video. It's almost as if like there's continuity between them. Crazy, crazy, truly crazy. Bracket comparison different objects. Okay, namely, if several ket vectors alpha j describe possible states of a quantum system numbered by index j, then any linear combination superposition, we have this. Okay, that makes sense ish. Yeah, possibly complex. Which any possibly complex C numbers, also described as a possible state of the same system. Actually, since K vectors are new mathematical objects, the exact meaning of the right-hand side becomes clear only if you postulate the following group summation of these vectors. Okay. That's wild, actually. Oh my goodness, that's that much of a new object, huh? Hold on for a second, what the fuck is going on? I don't think, sorry. It's simpler than it seems. It is simpler than it seems, okay? Just trust me. Arbitrary C number, alright, yeah, you can multiply both ways, or okay. Not that set of wave mechanic, postulated system, okay. A. Corresponding term, yeah, there has a special name, the null vectors and the equation, no state, no vectors, system, state. Bra vectors are the products. Bra vectors which obey the rules similar are not new, independent objects. A K vector and a corresponding bra vector describe the same state. In other words, there is a unique dual correspondence between alpha this way, alright, cool, very similar, but not identical to that between the wave function and its complex conjugate. In what way? This is so... I'm fine. Listen, no, I'm fine. I don't need to get angry. It's fine. It's fine. The correspondence between these vectors is described by a following rule. If a ket vector of a linear superposition is described by this equation, then the corresponding bra vector is the other way with a complex conjugate. Right. Okay. Simple. Okay. That makes sense so far. I will explain it in a second. Just give me a sec to read through this, and then I think I should be able to... Because so far, with the background of the Hilbert space, and I will be honest, with like 2 extra hours I spent yesterday researching this is understandable. I think we'll see below that if some state alpha may be described as a wave function, then we get this. Okay, that's like this is where the money is at. So here's the thing, quantum state. Let me show you where the money's at. The money's at with the wave function and the bracket at the same time. Okay, position operator. Something. Jeez, the quantum physicists really hate everyone with their notation. They really do. It's awful. It truly is awful. So here's the thing. Brass and Cats. I had a dream of making a series of the premiere of my video and skip through at the same time. There's some people kept calling me a name I hate. Like my crush from 3 years ago, confessed. And you led with like my premiere of 2 videos. that was the lead thing in your dream. Okay. Two vectors in the product space are orthonormal if they are orthogonal unit vectors. I said them in order they happened. Okay, I see. Isn't this an infinite Hilbert space? Or am I crazy? I mean, I am crazy. It's more of a matter of, am I wrong? It's fine, it's fine. So the position of multiple different eigenstates does in general have quantum uncertainty for the given observable. Using bracket notation, this linear combination of eigenstates can be represented as... Alright. Ish. Why is a function inside of a cat? I'm fine. Okay, so... So... Ah, this is terrible. I hate this so much. It's fine though. I do apologize for keeping you all waiting. It's just that my brain is really struggling at the moment. Hey, anyone wanna start a conversation topic that's unrelated to quantum mechanics? By the way, feel free to do it. I really need something else to have focus on. Oh, unplug lamp, please do. Please do. This will actually be perfect. Not Yarrow and the Jungle Dragon. More on Starship and why it's dumb. I mean, I don't get why they just keep blowing out. It's not like it's rocket science or anything. That's the mandatory joke I have to say whenever we're talking about rocket science. It's the law. Why do you think 2 associate degrees equals 1 bachelor degree? I am bad at academia. I don't... No. The whole idea is kind of dumb. What is actually the whole idea? Because I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up with SpaceX news, so I don't actually know exactly anything about the Starship. Yo, so make it. What's the whole femboy theorem? No, Bav. Femboy theorem cannot function as a background topic. It needs to be like a... The femboy theorem would have to be a main topic. Because I get quickly engaged. They're all stupid. They are dumb. Hi, the Tefta. Hi, welcome. How you doing? Excellent. Think of first different truth. There's half a different discipline. It can be generally equivalent. Mixed electron spin density matrix has attraction to height of matrix as Hermitian positive sum and it has a trace one. Mokume case given in bracket notation by a single state exemplifies the quantum entanglement. This is terrible. This is terrible. Okay, it's not terrible. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, I'm too damn pissed to explain. I shouldn't say it's terrible because it's not terrible. I just hate this. It's my own personal opinion. I'll find something else to yab about later, I promise. I respect that unplugged lamp. I do respect the hyperfixation talking about stuff because, well, I do it a lot. And one really wants to hear my thesis. Okay, so basically, let's create like a thought map for a second to put all of this into perspective. What is a quantum state? Okay, so a quantum state is basically some information describing a quantum system, correct? Was it a system or particle? Knowledge of a quantum system. Wow, look at me, I am so smart. Quantum state just gives us information about the system. So basically, like if you imagine some kind of a quantum system, right? Lovely mess right here. This is a quantum system. Everyone can see, like everyone will look at that, and the first thought comes to their mind will be quantum system. We don't know anything about it. What quantum state will be is it will be some object that gives us some element, some object, some whatever that gives us information about this system. It's a quantum country, you know? I respect, that's a good pun. I like that pun. Quantum representation. The position wave function is one representation, often seen first in introduction to quantum mechanics. The equivalent momentum wave function is another wave function representation. Okay. So, let's make a list of possible representations of a quantum state. First one, we have the wave function, position wave function. So this. Next one, momentum wave function. So momentum wave function would be, or would it be lowercase psi? I don't care. K. I realize that I'm obsessed with crows, obsessed with dogs, and the reason that's my favorite because they are a mixture of the two mentioned above. I like seals a lot. Listen, I don't mean to go on a tangent, even though I do go on a tangent a lot. But like, look at this. Like, listen, I'm just saying we should... Am I saying they are perfect life form? I don't know. All I'm saying is there is no need for us to continue with the whole evolution business, because I mean, come on. Like, look at this. Look at this. Hub seals are the best. Look at this. Look how goofy they are. We've already achieved a perfect life form, and it's seals and crabs, and there is nothing else. Nothing else is needed. Crabification, yes, but this... Wait, wasn't it Oh, what was the name of it? Carnification, actually? I don't think it was crabification, I think it was carnification. Yes, yes! Yes! I remembered! Got sensation, yeah. Seals are goobers though, they really are, they're the best. Top 10 animals. When historically defined as quantum state of a function, the wave function is a complex valued function of any complete set of computing incompatible degrees of freedom. For example, one set could be x, y, z spatial coordinates of an electron, measuring a complete set of pure quantum state. Equate rotation versus evolution is actually a function of a limit that approaches a crap. I should probably go to bed. It's fine. It's fine. Lamp by Unplugged. Should I call you by your first name or last name, by the way, for future reference? Because I'll be honest, the whole Unplugged lamp is a lot. Lamp. Alright, Lamp. Bye, good night. Starting the visual concept, the user function of movement developed Alright, so we have wave function representation. Pure states are different. Okay, so we have pure states. Of the operator correspond. It is possible to observe a part government of only if only the environmental operator is this. Okay, makes sense. I once spoke to a girl who was obsessed with seals, and I mean, I understand. She was obsessed with horses before that. I don't see the connection between horses and seals, but I respect being obsessed with seals. Seals are top 10 things. Both have faces. Oh, well, thank you, Mute, actually, yeah, that explains it. My goodness, yeah, consider my confusion just solved and fixed. No more questions. Just represent multiple different icons, it does in general have consistency for being observable. Okay. So basically, okay, I see, this makes sense. Pufferfish also hella underrated. I don't know, pufferfish, it's a bit of an oddity in it. I feel like pufferfish. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, okay, they are silly when they're small, but when they puff up, it's just... Okay, that is silly. Pufferfish bone structure. Oh, I know, no, yeah. When they have their bones like slide in order to actually puff up. That is the weird part of pufferfish, isn't it? But I mean, that is silly. The British tooth. What is that? Oh my goodness, I looked it up. That's not a single kind of fish. They are just images of different fish. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. And I'm done looking things up now. Okay, well, that was fun. Might sound weird, but are you Eastern European or French? I can't tell if I'm hearing an Eastern accent or a French accent. Well, if you can't tell, does that even matter? Wave function. Comes down at each point in regional space. The bond provides means to turn this probability into actual probabilities. In common form, it says the square modulus of okay. So true that they dropped the topic. That fish was odd, to say the least. Even like those things here, fishes of the French. What's the difference? Positive real number, the norm of the wave function. Norm is the different from the origin. Yeah, the magnitude of the vector basically. Okay. It's fine, I can almost there. Things been going swimmingly, bruv. I like this line a lot. This integral of probability from negative infinity to positive infinity is equal to 1 because if the particle is measured, there's a 100 probability that it will be somewhere. I like this line a lot. Okay, quantum status vectors. Lovely. Alright. At a particular instance of time, all values of the wave function are components of a vector. There are uncritically infinitely many of them, and the integration is used in place of summation. In bracket notation, the vector written... This is so dumb. I would just like to point out for a second. Because what basically is happening here when you have the wave function as a vector, you use the integral as a sum. So if you have some kind of function, right? The integral would just mean the area under the function. Now, if you use the integral as a sum for a vector, then what you're basically doing is like you're treating every single point on this function as an arrow, and then you like add together all the arrows, which is... I don't even know how to describe it. It's just special. My American brain just lumps all that area into one. Don't worry, most like Western Europeans also lump that entire area into one. Hey, a lot of Eastern Europeans also lump that entire area into one. It's going to know, and also kind of confuse you as the idea that consists account value is only true in certain situations. Okay. Yes, I know the following. Coordinates is a continuous index. The x are called the improper vectors, which unlike proper vectors, oh, that's a proper vector, innit? Losing my mind. There are norms to unity and can be normalized to a Dirac delta function. This has its own article, because of course it does. Because of course it does. Okay. Description of a state of system. Oh, alright, it's fine. I'm done with naming secret just now, because shit. I'm not looking up another thing, Ta. I refuse to. You can't lump them into one when it comes to language and accents, sure. Yeah, right. Dollars broken in a product. Okay. So each isolated system is associated with several Hilbert space. The state of an isolated physical system is represented at a fixed time, t, by a state vector. All anarchists would disagree. Psi belonging to Hilbert space, h called the state space. My goodness, that's... Anarchists would hate that. Community hypothesis the physical interpretation that the state is uniquely determined by countably many observations. What does mathematically convenient mean? What does that mean? What does mathematically convenient mean? Quantum states can be identified with equivalence classes in H, where two vectors will like represent the same state. The same state if they differ only by a phase factor. As such, the quantum state forms a ray in projective Hilbert space, not a vector. What's the difference between a ray and a vector? Oh, is a ray just like all vectors along a certain direction? If that's so, then I'll really like that. Vectors, which and lambda c. They represent the same pure state. Yeah, oh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Oh, I like that an awful fucking lot. That's amazing. Oh, holy shit, I love it. That's a proper good name. When I heard the name Ray, this is exactly what I imagined. This is exactly what it is. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay. So, quantum states are a ray in projective Hilbert space. Got it. Makes sense with the eigenvalues. So far it tracks. When the quantum state of the quantum system cannot be factored as a tensor product, says like constituency is expressed as sum or superposition. This product of states of quantum system. The subsystem is an entangled composite. An entangled quantum system generally cannot be described by a state vector or array. Density operator. Okay, now let's try to get back to the wave function. How do you turn wave function to a vector? Back in the question, okay. All values of the wave function, components of a vector. This is right here. We have this with xt, but then we do bracket of t. Which means this would be like a different vector for each. Which means, what do we do here? This is x, okay. That's so dumb. Oh my god, I cannot, it's... Am I wrong, or is it really, really dumb? I will need to ask Remco about this. You know what? Let me actually leave a message for Remco when Remco wakes up. Common state vector. Also in common state. There's not any wave function representing elements of an abstract vector space. Make it when we measure something in quantum and collapses, does it stay like that or the quantumifies again? First of all, I love the word quantumifies. I love that a lot. It does indeed quantumify again. Yes. It doesn't really dequantumify by much. Quantumify, I like that word a lot. Time parameters are suppressed in only the following. The x coordinates continue at index, the x account improper vectors, which unlike proper vectors down, normalizable to unity and can analyze the delta function. Okay. That's this. This makes sense? It tracks with this, doesn't it? Eliminates the identity operator I. This allows the abstract space to be expressed in bases, and more the inner product between two vectors x and other places alpha zeros can be expressed in bases. Okay, so abstract state to be expressed in base. All right. This is so close to making sense, but I just don't. I'm just not sure if I understand it correctly. If I do, then we're good. But there is a proper fucking good chance I don't. I think the only thing to do here is just to wait for Remco. I need to check my understanding, because if I don't understand, that means I need to restart completely. If I do understand, then there is nothing more I can get. So what should we do now? We've reached the end of the road for my research part of the stream. What now? Truth or dare? How do you imagine truth or dare going for this? Editing, that's a maybe. I do have a surprising amount of the quantum video done already. I take it back. Femboy theorem. You mean my femboy theorem? Femboy theorem is surprisingly simple. You wouldn't believe how simple it is. You couldn't go, well, you want me to re-explain femboy theorem again? But M1 isn't here. This is just... M1 really wanted to be here when I explained the femboy theorem again. What's femboy theorem? Oh, mute! You don't know what femboy theorem is? Well then, friend, allow me to explain. Is there a proof for the femboy theorem? No. No. No, it's more like a model. It actually should be a femboy model, I suppose. It's actually a model explaining why, when it comes to any kind of attraction, you can only be pan or ace and there is no in between. Or rather, the in between is statistically improbable to the point where it's impossible. Okay, so here's the thing. Imagine, alright, hear me out. Imagine a sigma function. Sigma function with some kind of vector, let's call it capital A, in the middle, okay? So we have the sigma function with the capital A vector. Now, what is this function? I'm so glad you asked. This is the sex function, of course. Duh. What does it mean? Well, okay, imagine that you have some n-dimensional space. Right here I'll be representing with 2 dimensions because with n dimensions it's kind of getting tricky with paint. So, n-dimensional space, right? We don't know how many dimensions it has, it's just n. Some number n, whatever, and n is just however many factors. It doesn't matter, you see. The point is, in this n-dimensional space, you would have 2 points. You would have the ideal male and the ideal female. Now, what is the ideal male, ideal female? This is what society would consider to be perfectly male-like, and this is what society would consider to be perfectly female-like. And then every single dimension of this n-dimensional space would represent a different property of a human, you know? Just a different arbitrary property. That's why it's n-dimensional. We don't know how many dimensions there are, because we don't know how many properties you need in order to specify a human like that. And so, around this M, you would have a certain, like, area, like this, let's just say, or maybe something like, oh, there we go, area like this, okay, which represents, like, all the different, the kind of area for which we would consider something to be a male. Okay, now this area would be a bit blurry, the edges. That's why we can imagine this as like a male function of the vector. If it's greater than some factor, let's call it theta, then that means someone would be considered a male in our society. This obviously m function of a would be a function. So if you imagine it like in 3 dimensions, then it would have like some kind of funky shape like this. However, the theta factor is there to give us a cutoff. So for example, we'd have theta like this, right? And everything above that line because they're male, everything below because they're female, not male. Why? It's because we live in a binary society in which, you know, we just someone has to be something or doesn't have to be, and that's how it functions. Now, then we have the same thing for the female. We have the female function of A, which looks like this. Okay, the same way. Now there are 2 possibilities here. Either the female function is just chilling next to the male function, or the female functions overlap. And I believe that it is more likely that these 2 functions actually overlap. Why? Well, it's because right here, everyone, we have the femboy zone. Why? Well, let me ask you, everyone. Let me ask you, all of you, alright, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, is femboy male or female? Go on, submit your answers right now in the chat, go on, submit your answers. I'll be waiting patiently, I'll be awaiting your response. However, they define this. No. The crucial part of the femboy thesis, as I established right now, you can see this MA and FA are in relation to societal values, okay? So this is depending on how the society perceives them. That's why the more proper question should be actually, does society consider femboys to be male or female? And Timon got it spot on. Femboy, obviously male. Exactly, it's femboy, male. However, here's the pickle. So you see, so basically, right? If you see a femboy, if you know they're a femboy, an average person in society would consider them to be male. However, if they see a femboy and they don't know it's a femboy, they might think it's actually not a femboy. They might think it's a woman. And this leads to an interesting factor where basically the mere knowledge of what society believes that person to be changes your own perception of what that person is. Which is important, because right here is where we get back to our sigma function. Because here's the thing. The femboy thesis stems around the fact that everyone has their own sigma function, and that sigma function does not actually perfectly align with what they believe it aligns. Which means you may think you're perfectly straight. However, what if your sigma function looks like this? Well, actually, I guess we would need to establish what kind of... Okay, let's say you're a gal, okay? You're a gal who believes herself to be perfectly straight. Your sigma function may look like this. You may think that your sigma function will be here, right? Because you think you're straight. But your sigma function can actually go outside these societal constraints. It can. And as such, you would no longer be straight. You would be, in fact, pan. Why? Well, it's because what pan requires is it requires inclusion in the blue zone, inclusion in the red zone, and inclusion in the outside zone. Okay, so if we imagine like sets, okay, if we imagine one set, which will be the set M, I'm gonna note the bar to differentiate it from the function, obviously. If we imagine set M, which is male, and if we imagine set F, which is female, okay, then you would need then just male. This is straight or gay, and just F is straight or gay, depending on, who you identify as. M and F, I never remember which one is the sum. Is this the sum? This is the sum, correct? Oh, yeah, I need to look it up real quick. I'm sure it gets me as female, therefore femboys are female. Can't argue with that reasoning. Union. Okay, union, this would be bi. Okay, so we have bi. Right here we have straight/gay. This one, let me cut between them. This is straight/gay. This is bi. Then, and then what we have is we have pan. Pan, which is basically, that's the important bit. Because actually, this shouldn't be sum. This should be if your own set of the values from the sigma function are inside this sum, then this translates to bi. I should specify it is important. However, it is highly unlikely for your own set of values to be inside these functions, because here's where we come to the kicker, everyone, you see? Here's the kicker of the femboy thesis, the main point. The entire time I've been saying from the perspective of society. Why? Well, it's because society is not a hive mind, which means each person would actually have their own set, okay? I'm gonna denote this with P for person. Each person has their own personal, tailor-made function, set, and so on and so forth. Everything here should have a P. Even the freaking theta cutoff should have a P next to it. Every single person has a unique one. There's no concrete thing there. It's not a single thing. Because it's all from the perspective of society, you see. Perspective of society, which begs the question. How would we define the M and F? And everyone, I would like your best answer. If everyone has their own view of what makes someone a male, what makes someone female, how do we define the M and F? Go on, best answers, everyone. Class, submit your answers right now. Do go on, don't be shy. I'd like to hear from you. People are finite, therefore there's geometric mean cues. Okay, one idea. We've got one idea. This is mean. One idea. Okay, what's next? Make a probability for something. Okay, so expected value. Expected value of the respective function. All right. Another idea. What's next? Well, that's the pickle, everyone. Because you see, we've arrived at a different problem. what do? Do we take the mean? Do we take the expected value? Do we take the average? What kind of average should we take? There are plenty of averages. How do we get the most middle going function? Well, that's the point. Maybe we don't have to. Because you see, there is no logically singular better way to get the objective view into what is a male, what is a female. And that's precisely the pickle. Between every single function, there will be some kind of deviation. We could imagine it as just a simple integral, all right, from, actually, wait, this will be the integral of, oh my goodness, n-dimensional, n-dimensional integral. Hey, real talk. Thank you for acknowledging there are different kinds of averages. That's actually a key point there. Dot integral d. I'm sorry. What's the notation for n-dimensional? How often do people do n-dimensional integrals? Because it would have to be n-dimensional. Okay, you just do... Jeez, this notation is something, truly. Okay, so if we have our A... Oh no, because we're defining a field, which means we would need to define the whole field. Let's call it S. So if our S is equal to Rn, because I feel like R is good enough. I don't think we need to involve complex numbers or quaternions for this. Then this should be S like this, dA of sigma P and sigma B of A. And right here, we would need subtract them. There we go. And this, ladies and gentlemen, gives us the difference. All right. Absolute value. This gives us the difference in the sigma functions. Okay. The difference. If we take two people, check their sigma functions, then we can get how different their concepts are. Actually, well, in this case, they will be different of similarity, but we can replace the sigma function of something else. We can replace it with m, for example. If we replace it with m, then what we get effectively is the difference, the magnitude of the difference in the concept of what makes something a male between two people. And so here's the pickle. Here we arrive at the pickle. Because how are we supposed to create a single coherent view of what makes something a male if we don't know how to combine in a meaningful, reasonable way all of these sigma functions? Huh? How are we to define a male? Because what this effectively does is that it makes the whole system kind of meaningless, you see? That's because, think about it this way, if you consider yourself to be straight, alright? Let's say you consider yourself to be straight. Let's say you are a guy this time, to change it up. Last time we did a gal, this time we're doing a gal. Let's say that, last time we did gal, now we're doing a guy. Let's say you're a guy, okay? And you consider yourself straight. And so in this case, you would have your red point, right? The female area, the male area. Right here you would have the male area, right here you would have the female area. And since you consider yourself straight, then this is what your area would be, correct? Like this is the cutoff at which this white area would represent the cutoff at which the female function of A is greater than theta. Obviously your own personal female, and there we go. Okay? There we go. You consider yourself to be straight, you're within the area. That's fine. However, consider the fact that in this case, you are the one defining it, which means, what if, another scenario this time, what if you're actually not attracted here, only your attraction looks like this. Now, if your attraction is fully within the male space, then the question for the audience, are you straight or are you gay? Blue represents the male, red represents the female. In this kind of attraction, are you straight or are you gay? And this is the societal standard, okay? The blue and the red represents like the societal consensus. Let's call it that, yeah. The blue area will represent here the societal consensus. Let's call it SC. So what the society agrees is a male, what society agrees is a female of A. And then red one will represent the societal consensus for a female. There we are. Now, if your area is fully here, are you straight or are you gay? Which means if you are fully attracted to what society considers to be a male and you are a male, are you straight or are you gay? If you're a guy, say gay. Okay. We still haven't defined social consensus. We don't have to. We're doing the we're doing the quantum state. All right. This is just hypothetical function which already describes the social consensus. The question of how you would get that social consensus is a practical question. Right now, we're just dealing with purely theoretical stuff. Blue is male, right here. M stands for male, red stands for female. And so you see that if you are, so what this would effectively translate to, that you are, just an update, viewership just doubled. I know, it's thrilling stuff. So what this would effectively translate to is that your entire attraction, your entire set of attraction, which would be obviously, this would be inside, you know, this would be the point for which your sigma function, okay? So this white thing is your own sigma function, personalize, of A being greater than the cutoff theta. In this case, once again, theta is also would have to be personalized because, I mean, it obviously depends. It varies person to person. Yeah, so here's the thing. So gay. Yeah, everyone keeps going with that. If you are male and if you're attracted to what society considers male, you are gay. Would be correct. Would be correct because we need to consider one more thing. We need to consider that every single person has their own personalized function of what makes someone a male, what makes someone a female. And as such, what if your personalized function actually looks like this? Oh, now are you gay or are you straight? What now? We're basically like one wrong line away from a French flag. This is a crisis. What are we to do? See, this is a pickle. So what if you are attracted to someone who society considers to be a male, however your own function considers to be a female? And now there will be the gut instinct to say, "Oh, then in that case you're wrong because the societal norm stands right." So in that case you would say that, but remember, we don't have a single good way to get the societal wave function. Is that thing? We don't know how to get it. We don't have a method for getting the societal consensus, which means this one actually wouldn't be the societal consensus. This one would be the personalized. The SCP foundation of the functions. This one would be what everyone personally believes the societal consensus would be, which is different. This is different. And see the problem now. If someone is so now imagine this. Okay, so now imagine that we have a person, all right? Let's do it purely abstractly now. Let's say that we have a person. You, right now, you watching this. You. Yes, you. Yes, you. We have a person and we have two random people on the street. you don't know them. Their names are Jack and the other one is Andrew. That's two people on the street. It's the name. Their names are crucial. So we have you, okay, and let's say that you have some kind of person A. A once again represents the vector in the n-dimensional space, in the n-dimensional vector space, in which this is just the person. All right, that's the person you're attracted to. You like them, and the specific point here is that f of A is greater than theta. This is your personal function. There we go. You like them. This is mathematically what it means. Mathematically, this is mathematical description of basically you like them. Okay? Simple. You like that girl. But here's the question. Is it actually a girl? Oh no! What now? Well, now we have the possibilities. So let's add the person right here. This is our A. Let's call them A vector. It's an odd name. Their parents gave it them at birth. It's a family name, A vector. And well, now what? Well, now we could have some kind of societal consensus, right, between Jack and Andrew. And Jack and Andrew could say that f of A, okay, SCP is actually that this one actually would be smaller than theta because your function is just straight up wrong, and in reality the m of A vector SCP would be greater than theta. That's because they're not doing a great job of being a female, they're actually doing a splendid job of being a male. What about now? I suppose we should specify in this case that, yeah, this, I guess this doesn't, I suppose this really wouldn't actually mean that you're attracted to them. A sigma function in this case would mean that you're attracted, but close enough. Doesn't matter. The point still stands. What now? Is that person a woman or a man? Huh? If you think that they are a woman, but society, right? Society thinks they're a man. What then? Submit your answers right now. I'm gonna change my name to A Vector. What do they think? You mean what does A Vector think? Call them by their name. Be respectful, please. Do you mean like what does the A Vector think of their own on whether you're attracted to them? Ah, you're getting on point. I thought no spoilers. Hold on. Don't let yourself decide who you are. Let society do it for you. I'm actually inverse gender fluid, so I actually change others' gender to my need. That's pretty good. We're up to 90%. This is climbing peak content. Femboy thesis. If she never as a woman, she was a woman. But Timon, thank you so much for saying that, because now allow me to once again complete switcheroo. Because yes, you could say that none of this matters. It doesn't mean what you think. It doesn't mean what society thinks. What matters is what that person thinks about themselves. But here's the pickle, Timon. How are they supposed to know what makes someone a male and what makes someone a female? Which means that I've been actually deceiving you this entire time. You see, this person would have their own female function, personalized, okay, with its own special A in the middle for themselves, right? This is the A vector for themselves, and it would be greater than theta, so they would consider themselves to be a female. However, this P is hiding something. This is the personalized female function that they have. However, this is actually still the societal consensus personalized function, because this is what society told them a woman would be. And only based on that, they can decide if they are a woman or not. According to their but that's the point. Their personalized function is still SCP. It's still based on society. It's still based on what society tells you. That's because gender and sex was just manufactured by big people to sell more humans. How about we let make it decide everyone's gender? There's no way it could go wrong. And that's the point of the femboy thesis. You see, let me gather myself for this big conclusion. You see, the only way for you to say that you are straight or gay, and it is true because it rhymes, is for your sigma function, alright, for all the places in which your own personal sigma function of A is greater than your own personal theta. That has to be true always if a certain specific other function also is greater than theta at that spot. If you're a guy and the male function is greater, that means you're gay. If you're a guy and the gal function is greater, that means you're straight. If you're a gal and the guy functions, that means you're straight. If you're a gal and a gal, that means you're lesbian. However, the crucial thing there is that this would be always the SCP, the social consensus personalized function. And the social consensus personalized functions are all equivalent. Which means that that on average, statistically, most functions shouldn't align. At least not perfectly, because they are different. And so, as such, it is the conclusion of the femboy thesis is that since we cannot create the actual true female and male function, since we cannot create a societal consensus around it, the only thing left to do is for us to create two sexualities, the pan and the ace. Because the ace is simple, actually. If sigma p of A is smaller than theta p for all theta, actually for all A, then that means you are ace. If it is not, however, actually, no, wait, that's wrong. If it is greater for any theta, that means you're pan. That's because no matter who you would be attracted to, there would be a way for someone else to come with their own SCP, societal consensus personalized function, and turn it around. It's not that complicated, Mike. If two people can create more people, one of them is male and the other one is female. It doesn't matter which one is which. It doesn't matter which one is which. That's so basically, if two people come together, they just get like randomly assigned male, female. I like that system a lot. That's a good system. No one has sex or gender. No one. Until they reproduce. And then they get 50-50. 50-50 assigned either male or female. Until you have kids, you don't get to have sex or gender. That will be a parent-only privilege. And the parents will get the random one. That's a good system. And so yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the simple stuff. Then we also have the collapse of the sex function, which is a different thing, where basically your own perception of someone else's sex slash gender changes your attraction function, where basically like it gets quite tricky. It gets quite rather tricky because what you also have to consider is that the way we should have done it a bit is we should consider that for each function we have the attributes of a person, and then we also have the experience, let's call it, that you have went through, and this experience will change your function as it goes on. And so as such you could have like a differential equation of the attraction and your concept of what makes someone. And so you could just slowly shift your function to include that, but that's a story for another time. That's a bit of a longer talk. But yeah, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. There'll be a test on it next Sunday, so do prepare. If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me after the class. Yeah. Make it. Do you know how to rotate graphs with center O? No, not really. Will it be a theoretical or a practical exam? It will be an oral exam. Make of that what you want. Make, what about tomboy theorem? Curiously enough, there isn't that much disagreement about the tomboys. That's the problem. Why do you live alone? Ouch. Unless you mean live alone. When is the femboy thesis video coming out? after the after the Q&A video. Oh, I still have 100 subscribers left till I need to release the Q&A video. I'm fine. I have time. The problem is that gender is a social construct, but sex at the same time is also way more difficult to define than it seems. That's because with sex, it is only easy if you close your eyes and pretend it's binary, but at the same time, the mechanisms that regulate it in our body don't function on something that's binary, because life is really terrible at dealing with binary things. Because basically, the bigger the organism gets, the harder and harder it is to have something be binary. That's why, for example, we have estrogen and testosterone, and it's not like your body either produces estrogen or only testosterone. You can have a mix if you want. Life on large scales is terrible with binary things, because it's hard to enforce this sort of random binariness on a large scale. If binary is so bad, then why do bi people exist? Gemma, listen, I know what to tell you. I think bi people should just acknowledge the fact that they're pan, actually. Bunch of cowards. Doing my physiology homework in the background. She was born with a dick. Timon, take a lap right now. Take a lap. Take a lap right now. Race will need this categorization like gender. Do you agree? Make it. I don't really care for specifying humans based on like the ways they were born. The thing is, if there is one thing okay, here's the thing. The thing I value most about people is their brain. No offense to any other organs in all of your bodies, but I think the brain is the coolest one. And so, that's coming from my own brain, by the way, like self-reporting. But yeah, I think the brain is the coolest one. And the thing that has been shown time and time again is that evolution prefers generalization, especially when it comes to intelligence. So basically, brains, not only human brains, but brains of all animals practically, prefer leaving like empty gaps in their knowledge to be later on filled in by their environment, rather than pre-filling them from just evolution. The reason why is because this makes it much easier for animals to adapt. And because of that, in your brain, you really won't have much that's predetermined by birth. Unless you have some kind of terrible condition, nothing there should be predetermined by birth. Borderline nothing. And as such, I think that grouping people based on something just happened at their birth is a very odd thing to do. How can you address racism without race existing as a concept? Well, that's the problem. Well, not that the problem, only the problem is that there is no good way to abolish race as a concept. If we had that way, we would have done it. As simple as it could be. I don't want to get into politics because it gets depressing really fast, but basically, ideally, you'd have society in which, no one cares about race, or there's just no concept of race. That would be the perfect one, right? It's not that no one cares about it, it's just there's no concept of race. So, this will be so in that society, treating people differently based on the color of their skin would be kind of like us treating someone differently based on the color of the hair or something. Like, it would be a very weird thing. However, getting there from now is really difficult because right now race very much is a concept. And we don't really have like a ministry of truth or whatever, which I would argue isn't a great solution. And as such, really often people can pretend to just not care about race while still caring about it secretly, and it's ugly. Do you agree people only should care about the class, not the race, gender, nationality? Make it only? I feel like there's a couple more things you can throw in the modern class. I don't know. I'm not much of a... I don't know much about... I haven't studied social sciences, so I don't feel educated enough to state my case on that. I mostly just do mathematics and quantum mechanics and chemistry. I haven't built my way up to social studies. It's important to acknowledge when you just don't know enough about the topic. and stop talking about that topic, because otherwise you could spread misinformation online. Could any society ever come about where no one ever thinks of the idea of race? I think, okay, opinion part, but I think what's going to happen is that we will divide ourselves in so many arbitrary ways that eventually the concept of race will just blur away. That's what I genuinely think is going to happen. So basically, and when I say divide, that doesn't have to necessarily be bad. Basically, we'll just keep on dividing ourselves in random arbitrary ways to create just smaller circles, smaller social circles, which I shouldn't say smaller, because I mean, throughout all human history we had small social circles. You are from Poland, so you'd have to be influenced by communism. Not really, not by, I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, I was obviously influenced by communism. There's no escaping that, Eastern Bloc. But I wasn't like radicalized by it. Like, obviously I had to be influenced by communism, but I was influenced by a bunch of stuff. I was also influenced, I don't know, by autocracy, by democracy, by capitalism. I've been influenced by a bunch of things. Why are you only picking communism? Like, the thing is, Titan, I have been influenced more by capitalism than communism. Because obviously I have. Most people have been influenced more by capitalism than communism. Well, a society with no difference between individuals will technically have no racism. That one guy tried that one time, though. Because your idea of a genderless, raceless community was first introduced by communism. I've never been reading up. You mean the femboy thesis? Hold on, you mean this? Titan. Okay, I hate to do it because there is nothing funnier than explaining the joke, but the whole idea of this bit is that I'm trying to show how the concept of gender is idiotic if you try to define it rigorously, because it depends on the social contract. Okay? Without the social contract, there is no consensus around the concept of gender, and without the consensus about the concept of gender, you cannot rigorously define it. Hence the whole point of the joke, where, you know, I start with the personalized function and then end up with the social consensus personalized function. I don't really care much for communism or capitalism. I don't really care much for picking. It feels weird. Pick. People really often only focusing on communism, though. You know, I just realized it right now. So, for example, Titan, you mentioned that, you know, what I was talking about was first created by communism. But isn't it curious how people only mention that from the perspective of communism? Like, consider it from the point of capitalism, for example. The only reason why I have Patreon is because I've been influenced by capitalism. For example, the reason why the charity exists is because I've been influenced by capitalism. The reason why these streams exist is because I've been influenced by capitalism. I would argue there's a lot more, like, there's orders of magnitude more influence of capitalism than communism, especially in this moment. And so I'm just saying it's curious how we really often only focus on the capitalist part, on the communist part. I'm personally a socialist. I don't like communism. What's a socialist? This is how quantum mechanics person procrastinates. No, I've already done all the research on quantum mechanics I could have, because now I have a fairly... Well, I either have a correct understanding or I have an incorrect understanding. And I'm just waiting for someone who actually knows about the topic to wake up so I can ask them. Communism is a social construct created by big dye to sell more red dye. Holy shit. Can you imagine communism being created just by big dye industrialists to sell more red dye? We should just give up money and work together to make enough resources for everyone. Stamp, it's not that simple. It is not that simple. Okay, so here's the thing. Listen, everyone. I always like to place myself on the opposite side of the argument because I think it's more fun to open people's eyes to more ideas. But I am aware of the fact that there is a surprisingly large communist movement in this community. So let me place myself on the side of capitalism for a second to make you all realize something. Capitalism is not useless. It's not useless. There is a reason why it's being done. Because saying that we should just give up money and work together to make enough resources for everyone is simple in theory. However, considering how large societies are, you need some kind of organizational tool. And capitalism provides a great way to do this. So here's the thing. The two most common methods people present for it is totalitarian-ish capitalism. Totalitarian-ish communism, I'm sorry, like this. I'll just focus on these two to showcase what I mean. And then you have like anarcho-capitalism, which would theoretically look like this. And then let's chuck in like a really big one like here. Where basically, you know, complex web, randomly interconnected. Let's throw in a small one here, another small one, bigger one. There we go. So, basically, J-Rich model, exactly that. And finally, someone called it, my goodness, finally, about time. Capitalism still functions as an organizational tool because you want to figure out what kind of labor you need. It's really great because it's self-reinforcing, which basically means that if, for example, all of a sudden we get a lot of new people and people get hungry, then what that means is that, let's say that this, for example, institution produces food, okay? Then if you get a lot of people who are really hungry, that means there will be higher demand for food, therefore the food will cost more, right? It will be more expensive. Therefore, the institution that creates food will have more money and it will be able to expand to sell more produce because it can sell more produce now. So that way, it is a great organizational tool. In communism, the reason why it really often goes autocratic is because you also need some kind of system to enforce that. So, for example, if in a communism system, people get really hungry all of a sudden, then you would like to divert resources towards the thing that produces the food to give it like more power to produce more food. That kind of thing. And the pickle with communism is that it's difficult to create the organization for it. Because you don't want an autocracy, like big part of communism. You don't want an autocracy. However, without an autocracy, creating a communist system is really difficult because of this organization. And so that's why capitalism isn't completely terrible. It has its upsides. The self-reinforcement mechanism of, you know, just well, not self-reinforcement, only self-balance. Well, self-reinforcement is a different thing, but all systems have self-reinforcement, just that capitalism has been the status quo for however many fucking thousands of years. So the self-reinforcement there kind of goes crazy. And so that's why I would like to mention, because I feel like it's important. It has its faults, obviously, but it's dangerous to think of capitalism as useless, because then you forget about, you know, the important parts of thinking society. Economic class influence social power-based class. Not quite. There is this vague concept of anarcho-communism. First of all, I would just like to mention, pure anarcho-capitalism does not exist. It doesn't. It cannot, simply because for anarcho-capitalism to exist, you need property. However, property is a social construct that needs to be enforced. And as long as you have an agent, so that means that for an anarcho-capitalist society to exist, you need property. For this property, you need enforcement of property rights. For this enforcement, you need some kind of institution that could enforce them, right? Like this. However, the mere existence of this institution causes this to no longer be anarcho-capitalist, which means that anarcho-capitalism cannot really exist. If only autocracy and capitalism was possible, Gemma. Gemma, please take your meds. We need a different tool than market. Some, I agree with you there. Some, I do agree with you there, because my belief when it comes to what kind of system we should get is we should stop fucking pretending as if it's a simple problem. It's not. It's society. It doesn't really get much more complex than that. We should stop pretending as if a fix to societal problems will be simple. It won't be. It really won't be. You get one bad dictator inside every dictator is bad. How is that fair? Gemma, one? We have so many bad democratic leaders. Yeah, Gemma, but you can vote democratic leaders out. That's the point. Okay, Gemma. Here's, like, among other things, there are many reasons. But here's the basic mechanic, okay? You have an autocratic leader, okay? And the coin flip, 50-50. Either they are a good leader, let's be charitable and let's say it's a 50-50, okay? In reality, usually in order to become an autocratic figure, you need to do a lot of horrible shit, but let's pretend that it's a 50-50. They're either a good ruler or a bad one. In that case, if they're a good one, congrats. Green checkmark, it's great. It's lovely. If they are not a good one, however, red checkmark, go suffer. In a democracy, however, you start with that ruler, and either they are good, and then they get re-elected, or they are bad, and they pass on the power to the next guy, which could be good or bad. Now, yes, this isn't perfect. This can go wacky in all sorts of ways. People can get elected on populist messages, which aren't actually all that great for everyone. People can do gerrymandering and all sorts of stuff, yes. However, most of the time, the fault comes in these people rigging the system to be autocratic. For more questions, go to Timon and ask how Fidesz got into power. The real problem, well, not the real problem. The issue is that, yes, a lot of countries have democracies which suck. However, the reason why they suck is because they are too autocratic. You have a lot of people who are just, who became powerful because of the system, and they're using that power to reinforce their role in a system to get more power, and then they use that power to reinforce the role, and so on and so forth. Which means that the elections are... Economists find the same not pure logical political science need to figure out too. At least it's better than finding out if you're gay using quantum. Democracy have better probability to work mediocre rules. Autocracy have better probability to either extreme bad or extreme good leaders. Yeah, Gemma, I would agree with you if it wasn't just your pure fucking opinion. Like, yeah, you can make that with any argument. Hey, you know what I say? I think that democracies have better probability to elect better rulers, and autocracies have a higher probability to elect bad rulers. I can say that because I can also have an opinion. One of the best leaders. What do you mean the best leader? First of all of human history is pushing it. A lot. Title was clickbait. No, it wasn't. That's how we started the stream. Gemma, remind me, where do you live? Quick question. Where do you live, Gemma? Doesn't matter where I live, right? No, it does. Tell me, where do you live? Just quick refresher. I'm just curious of something real quick. Where do you live? Not in China. Why won't you move to China, Gemma? Why wouldn't you move to China? Because it's too expensive. Okay, now in what country do you live in, Gemma? Just a quick refresher for everyone watching. I'd like to make a point. China's trip to live in. Blank moving is still expensive, so that's fair. America. Then tell me, Gemma, how is it that you, as a citizen of what you really often mentioned was the richest country, if not one of the richest countries, cannot afford to move to another country? Isn't it wild how you cannot move to another country even though you're a citizen of one of the wealthiest countries? Isn't that curious? And that's why, everyone, it's actually not great to just talk about the wealth of a country, because that's not what makes countries good. As well as social security networks. I'm losing my mind. There is a difference between a country having wealth and the citizens of that country having wealth. How do you define how rich a country is? That's precisely my point. That's the pickle. The thing is, I technically could afford to move to another country. The only problem is that the only country I would like to move to is the Netherlands, and it's just too expensive for me to live there. So I can afford to move, but I can't afford to live there. And that's why I am actually glad to live in Europe, because that's fine by me. I like Europe.
Hello.
Hi, Timon, hi. China is the biggest trading partner of Europe. Cool, cool. Yeah. And Germany is like the third richest country in the world, but I still would prefer to move to the Netherlands. There is a trend of richest countries having the greatest wealth inequality. That's because in order for a country to become extremely rich, it has to depend on the exports. Which means that in order for it to depend... Well, it's a genuine trend. USA is the exception, but USA mostly became rich because of the complicated military history. The dollar being the standard also really help. And because of the extreme consumer market. Soon EU will move from the US for influence Chinese. Probably. I mean, I can't really disagree with you there. That is probably what's going to happen. Because, I mean, well, unless the EU bands together and goes more federal, that's also a probability. Because of the recent, events in America, EU is actually becoming more and more unionized and more federal. Which means, hey, Gemma, soon you'll have 3 global superpowers to add to your list. Isn't that lovely? Timon, you know my weak spot. You know my weak spot, how to get into best comments. Nationalism is growing in Europe. I wouldn't say so. There is a recent slight trend, but that's mostly from the anti-establishment movements. I wouldn't really say it's growing. I would say it's more of a response to it's more of an anti-establishment response to the pandemic governments. Glory to God, President Macron of the Federal European Empire. Yes, I've been holding together EU and NATO to establish. Oh, they were not holding together EU. US was holding together NATO, that's true, but that's only because they wanted to sell more weapons. Funny enough, actually, there were many historical attempts of the European Union to create their own military. but those tries fell apart because of the extreme lobbying from the United States. Because the United States wanted to still be the dominant power. Because it was just beneficial for them too. And Europeans were like, yeah, fine. Wanna spend your money on military, and then we're just gonna sit back. But hey, this time it might happen. That'd be nice. So don't try to lecture me, Gemma, on European politics. Listen, trust me. As much as I don't know much about communism, capitalism, and I just usually don't get into it, I am very both-sided on the issue. Not when it comes to European politics. That's different. I know European politics. Same office, to be fair, military aid is a hell of a drug. Yeah. Isn't good. I like that. I like that. Likes Poseidism. That's a bold choice, and I respect it.
The what?
Oh, you don't know what Poseidism is?
I only know Poseidon.
Yeah, obviously. I sometimes forget how uncultured you are, Timon. I bet you don't even know what an anarcho-transhumanist is.
I think I know that roughly.
Yeah, then what is an anarcho-primitive transhumanist? What is that?
Go back to monkey and kill ourselves. Am I wrong?
that was a wild sentence to say out loud. Go back to monkey and kill ourselves. You were close. It was go basically live in the jungle but with robot arms. Which is the best political ideology, by the way. It basically states that we should go back to living in the jungles like animals, except with all the advanced technology we have access to.
Okay, that would be a vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it is good or bad.
Anarcho-primitive
That would be a
transhumanists.
vibe. Like, not sure it's feasible or anything, but I like the vibe.
As an anarcho post-primitive humanoposeidis, I can't help but disagree with you on this one. Post-primitive? No, I think that anarcho-primitive transhumanism is great. I think that post-humanism is idiotic. And there we go. There is a voluntary extinction movement, though, where there's just a bunch of people who want to make humanity go extinct.
On one hand, I understand because, like, humans fuck up the planet big time, and it would be nice to
Post-human,
like,
just nihilism plus plus. No, post-human actually isn't nihilism plus plus, because post-human is basically to transhuman what transhuman is to human. So basically, transhumans believe that I would count myself as transhumanist. Transhumans believe that we should, like, use basically technology to transcend our humanity. So stuff like engineer our own biological components, or like get sweet robot arms. That also would be nice, and so on and so forth. Post-humanism, however, believes that humanity should just die and it should get replaced by machines. That's post-humanism, where, you know, it's post-humanity. So, for example, creating AIs that would kill all humans and just live forever on Earth instead of us.
You cut me off, and now and with that you made me sound like a nihilist. No, I was gonna finish the sentence with I wouldn't want to do that because like I'm a living being with survival instinct and biological stuff, and I'm not gonna deny that. And like, yeah, I want to survive, and I want my species to survive because it's biologically encoded in me, and I'm not gonna fight that.
Can we hold the poll? About what? Hold on. Transhumanism versus posthumanism? Post versus trans. Okay, hold on. How do just the poll? The only poll that matters.
Wait, so like, are we voting on post offices and gender
Yeah, and
clinics,
trans
or...
people, exactly. And I'm making the poll.
You should place it somewhere where other people can see it, but don't know the context, and they just think
No,
it's...
I added the humanisms.
Okay, I already forgot which is which. So the post is that we turn into machines, the trans is that we die to machines, right?
No. Trans.
The other way
Okay,
around.
think about it this way. Trans, that's like changing into. So trans means like we change into machines. Post means after something, right?
So it's like kill humans, replace it with robots.
Yeah. So how society will look like after humanity. For that, you need the humanity to be gone. Hell yeah, transhumanism is winning. Humanism gets 23%. Why?
I want to have robot arms and a calculator in my head that
Hell
just
yeah.
calculates. So, you know how difficult it is to keep track of the prices in the store and just keep it all in my head, and
If only
add
you
them
had some kind of
together.
magical machine that could add numbers together. Oh well,
Yeah, but I'm
one day
using
we're going to create such a magical contraption.
I'm using one hand to pick the items, my other hand to hold the basket. Like, I don't have a third hand. And, like, typing it into my phone is like a whole chore, so it's still easier to count it in my head. But it would be so easy if there was a chip in my head to do it.
What about pre-humanism? That's actually primitivism, funny enough. Okay, you know what, y'all? Unfortunately, I will have to be the end of the stream. I need to go walk on a videos, and hope that Remco will join in.
Why not
help.
work on them in stream?
Because it's a secret video. It's a secret video no one knows about.
Alright then.
Mystery. Patreon only. You will know. No one else will. Anyway, unfortunately, I do have to go. Because walk, my videos aren't performing too well. And for now, I suppose that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.